So, when it comes to this episode, I had something that we kind of discussed a little bit offhand, and put you in a little bit of, you didn't think about it this way because, you remember when Vivek Ramaswamy was campaigning and he was talking about shutting down the FBI?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And personally, I really like Vivek. I think he's a good guy. I think he has a firm standing on running on Constitution, personally.
Yeah.
And he's not he's Hindu, but he runs on like just good moral standing of like godly principles as it stands, right? And even though he practiced Hinduism, he knows he still leads with the fact that like this is America and we hold Christian values, and he still leads that way. And I respect him in the fact that
freedom of religion.
Yeah. And I respect him to know that, you know, he knows where he lives. And his parents were immigrants. They immigrated the right way from India, but he's a naturalized citizen and he was born here. So, but he talked a lot about shutting down the FBI. And when I was talking to you about this, you kind of were like, you didn't really think about it. When I broke it down to you, even you were surprised when you thought about it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring this up. Okay, so FBI roles and responsibilities. Okay, operates under the motto fidelity, bravery, and integrity. Fuck off. Okay, so areas of focus: terrorism, counterintelligence, cyber, violent crime, civil rights, transnational organized crime, white-collar crime, public corruption. We know they're doing great on that. Okay.
They are great at making corruption.
Yeah. So start with the first one, terrorism. Okay. Who else investigates terrorism?
NSA.
And more broadly, Homeland Security.
Homeland, yeah.
You know, and it's kind of
and Secret Service does too, but
yeah.
That's not what they were made for, but yeah.
Yeah, but Homeland Security is, and it pretty much is in the name, Homeland Security.
Yeah.
They have a massive anti-terrorism unit.
Absolutely.
Okay. Counterintelligence.
CIA. And NSA.
Yeah. But when it comes to counterintelligence, it's a very broad term, because when you're looking at counter intel, right, you look at the fact that when any type of operation is going on, regardless of what agency.
Okay. So counterintelligence. Are you talking on our land or foreign affairs?
For this one, it says specifically safeguard the U.S. against foreign intelligence operations, espionage, cyber threats, and adversaries. So that's CIA and it could be NSA, right? Both. Yeah. But then you also just look at counterintelligence as a broad term. Anything with any operation, you're looking at working counter intel against it to make sure, right? So every division of every agency would have some type of counter intel division.
Absolutely.
Cyber, broad term again, but when you look at cyber as a whole, NSA is a very, very like cyber division.
Yes.
You know, because that's pretty much all they do is cyber stuff. We know somebody that does that.
Yeah.
Violent crime. Every fucking
Sheriff's
agency,
Department, police
every
department,
agency, law enforcement handles violent crime. That is really nothing to brag about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. Gang activity, human trafficking, and firearm offenses. Again, sheriff's offices have gang units. Human trafficking, like every law enforcement agency has all this shit.
Yeah.
Right? To include other sister federal agencies.
Yeah.
Okay. Civil rights. Investigating hate crimes, human trafficking again. So like, why you double up on that? And discrimination. Now,
hold on. Human trafficking. FBI did a lot of good on the Epstein case, huh?
Yeah, right. But also, correct me if I'm wrong, human trafficking would also fall under Homeland Security.
Yeah, it could. Yeah. As long as it hits our borders. Yeah.
Yeah, because ICE deals with this, CBP does with it, because that is human trafficking.
Yeah. It would.
So, hate crimes and discrimination. Now, hate crimes, it's kind of tricky how it goes up, because in the end, whenever you get arrested for it, you're getting arrested kind of on a local level, but then you have to sue for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Me neither.
So, and then the next one, transnational organized crime, disrupt international criminal enterprises such as drug cartels and smuggling networks. Again, CIA and Homeland.
Yeah.
Do that. And NSA in a sense too, because doing cyber stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like they'd be partnering with stuff like that. You know what I mean? White collar crime tackles significant financial crimes, including fraud, corporate corruption, and intellectual property theft.
Ooh, pick me.
Who began that?
Secret Service.
Right? Nobody knows that Secret Service was started on financial crimes.
Yeah, especially counterfeit fucking bills.
Yeah. Like they were big on tracking counterfeit, and they still do that today. It's just nobody knows what the Secret Service's role outside of protecting the president and other big political figures.
Yeah.
But no, a big part of the Secret Service is a financial
absolutely
crimes, and they still have a big role in that.
Yeah. Well, that is still their main fucking job is financial crimes. So anything counterfeit, everything they investigate.
Yeah. And on top of that, what they could also technically do in this situation when it comes to anything like tracking through whatever I say, like computer, whatever like that could be partnered with NSA. And then last one, public corruption. Like they're good at that. Combat corruption at all levels of government, from local officials to federal institution. Now, I don't think this is necessarily something that's like sold to the FBI. This kind of feels like, I don't know, this kind of feels like a cop out, and like this is something the FBI does. You know what I mean? Because I feel like this would be something that would be filed at whatever jurisdiction the corruption is, whatever, right? Like, hey, I think this person at this office, feel like this person in this office is corrupt. So you file that there. Then the local
take it up to the circuit. You take it up to the circuit court, really.
Yeah, but local jurisdiction law enforcement there would investigate. Yeah. And then they can enlist resources there to do it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think that FBI needs to be that, because to me that would lead to some conflict.
I definitely agree. I 100%. And then on top of that, you got to think, look at the old mob days. Look at how many FBI agents were fucking bought out and, bribed and all that shit. You know what I mean? So like with all the racketeering and shit like that, like you need to keep it at a local level. And then I think that whenever you look at, the racketeering side and gambling side and all that shit that comes along with a lot of the corruption and all that, I think maybe let the Secret Service handle that. If they're already handling white collar crimes, corruption's white collar. Yeah. You know what I mean? For the most part.
So, what do you think the annual FBI budget is?
$350 billion.
You're thinking ridiculous. It's not that much.
I don't know. They do so much bullshit. Like, you gotta think of all their buildings and all that. I don't know. Fucking in the millions or billions?
Billions.
4.8 billion.
10.7 billion for this past fiscal year. But think about that. Almost $11 billion for an agency where all of the work can be farmed out to other agencies that are already doing the same work.
But here's the problem with that. Here's what I see. Our government doesn't give a fuck about saving us the fucking tax money, because if they did, they wouldn't be sending all that fucking money to fucking Israel that doesn't do anything for us and all these other foreign entities. You know what I mean? So you can't just fight off of a fucking cost savings. Really, it needs to be like, hey, what the fuck do these assholes do? Like, that someone else can't do. DEA, fucking NSA, CIA, Secret Service, local and state.
I just thought about who could investigate public corruption. U.S. Marshals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do U.S. Marshals jurisdiction fall under?
Everything.
I know, but what?
U.S. Marshals is one of those forgotten law enforcement.
Yeah, no, I know. I think that could follow under Secret Service and U.S. Marshal, both of them. It could be, because look, whenever you deal, especially with government corruption, you need more oversight. You need multiple agencies to actually keep them at bay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't want something like the mob, shit again, and fucking them being able to bribe fucking everyone.
The U.S. has over 70 federal law enforcement agencies.
How do we have 70 different ones?
So the Department of Justice, the ATF, the DEA.
I think ATF should be abolished. I think, hold on. So FBI, I think definitely should be getting rid of. ATF, I think every other agency can do exactly what they're doing. Okay, what's next?
Marshals fall. So the marshals falls under the DOJ. So again, that kind of leads me to where they could do the corruption because they fall under the DOJ like the FBI does.
Yeah, I agree. And they're also doing
their brief description says protects federal courts, apprehends fugitives, manages prisoner transport. So why couldn't they take on public corruption?
Yeah, and if we disbanded the FBI, then a lot of those guys could, and they'd have a higher security clearance. A lot of those guys could go over.
And then they designate the Office of Inspector General as quote unquote, federal as a federal law enforcement agency, which I get, because they're enforcing the law. Investigates waste, fraud, and abuse within DOJ components. Yeah, like that's happening.
That's corruption, so they should be investigating all that. So fuck the FBI.
Homeland Security, Coast Guard, but that's a different thing. Customs and Border Patrol, good.
Mm-hmm.
ICE, Federal Protective Services. So
what's that?
That's I don't know.
It's WITSEC.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Is WITSEC in a different term? Secret Service falls under Homeland Security. I didn't know.
Yeah, I knew that.
I didn't know it fell under Homeland Security specifically. I thought that would fall just under.
No.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, they have Secret Service and then Secret Service Uniform Division. So they have two different. So yeah, okay. So that's how they do it. They have Secret Service protects national leaders, investigates financial crimes,
and the Uniform Division
protection of the White House and foreign dignitaries.
Yep.
Okay, so that's how they do. That's how they separate it. And then Office of Inspector General, Department of Treasury, IRS criminal investigation.
That needs to be get rid of, abolish the fuck out of that.
Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration.
Hold on. I want you to step back. So you could take the Secret Service and put the parts of IRS that we could keep and put those under Secret Service too. Mm-hmm. Get rid of the IRS too. That's more offices, more bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, again, or that could fall under Secret Service.
And fucking with Marshals oversight.
And it says overseeing IRS operation and investigating tax-related fraud. So that's part of what the TIGTA. Bureau of Engraving and Printing Police Force. So people who protect the printing facilities.
The Secret Service. That's just my opinion.
So check this out. I typed in, even though we kind of already went over it a little bit, but I typed in just to kind of confirm FBI roles and responsibilities that overlap with other federal law enforcement agencies.
Everything.
Terrorism, domestic and national threats, overlapping agencies, HS like ICE, Homeland Security Investigations, and U.S. Secret Service. So then counterintelligence, espionage, foreign influence, DHS, HSI, DOD, NCIS, and DOD to include NCIS and Air Force OSI. So again, cyber hacking, NSA, like we said, U.S. Secret Service even, DHS, HSI, and CISA. Crime, gangs, firearm offenses, human trafficking, ATF, but we don't care about them. So it even said USMS, which is the Marshals, and DEA.
Yeah, see, they could give a lot of the roles of ATF to the Marshals, I think, and Secret Service, and ICE, Border Patrol,
Civil rights, hate crimes, and discrimination. Remember we were talking about that? And it brought up something else we didn't even think about. DOJ Civil Rights Division.
Oh, yeah.
And it also said ATF, but who gives a shit? So DOJ Civil Rights Division. They don't need the fucking FBI. Transnational organized crime, drug cartels, smuggling. DEA, ATF, but nobody cares. ICE, HSI, and the Marshals. White collar crime. U.S. Secret Service, like we fucking said. It even brought up the IRS, but we don't care. And the ATF, but we don't care. So, Secret Service. Public corruption. Who did we say? The Marshals. And it brought up the Marshals. But seriously, so again, every single major role and responsibility can be farmed out to every other fucking organization.
Oh, yeah.
And anything that brought up ATF has another agency that could take it over. So we can get rid of those fuckers too.
And we really need to.
Yeah. Because all they do is just infringe on our rights.
Absolutely.